Hello everyone and welcome to Tailored Acres. I'm Taylor and I am a gardener in central Wisconsin, Zone 4B. And today's video is about the 10 fall gardening tasks that you should consider doing for your garden. The first task is to clean up spent annuals and pull the weeds as well. So a great example of this is my vegetable garden. We had our first freeze already, so just about everything is done in here and needs to get cleaned up. So I did actually already start that on this side. So it's just such a nice look and you'll be happy that it's done come spring. Part 2 of that cleanup effort is also to bring all of your garden waste, I guess, to compost. So I have a really slow composting method because I don't put much time and effort into this. So I just slowly move my piles and flip them when I'm able to. So make sure that you're making compost. I'm also spreading some of this on the areas that I'm cleaning up. The second garden task is to divide your perennials and take cuttings of both perennials and annuals that you want to propagate indoors over winter. So I have a totally separate YouTube video about this, and I started a lot earlier in the fall with this. It is getting a little bit late to do this now, but there still is some opportunity to get stuff done. The third task is to plant spring blooming bulbs. So for this area, I got some pink tulips that I'm going to plant in here. I also got some crocus and a couple other things to plant this fall. I am like $60 deep already as I was talking with one of our viewers here. I didn't plan on getting any bulbs this year, but it's just so fun and I'm always happy that I did it come spring. So I will be adding a few more of those this fall still, and I'll probably do a video on what I'm planting for that as well. My next garden task is planting garlic. Garlic is a fall planted vegetable, I guess. And then we're going to harvest that in like mid-July. So it gets planted now, and I do have a whole separate video on garlic as well, if you want to see how I do mine. But I have been propagating my own crop now for quite a few years, and I've been using this area. So I have, not that you can see it anymore, they're all shriveled up, but I have beans planted in here, bush beans after I harvested the garlic, which helps the soil, and beans are nitrogen fixing, so that helps as well to add more nutrients to the soil for the garlic. My fifth gardening task is to plant a cover crop. I have been planting Winterize. This is my second year now with it. It did some really great things for my soil last year, so I am planting it again this year. I'm only planting that in the areas where I'm going to be growing warm, loving crops. So that is things like tomatoes and peppers and basil, and squash, things that you're going to be planting later in the year, because that rye needs some time to mature so that you can terminate it more easily. So I did plant it in this area. It hasn't sprouted yet. That was only a couple days ago that I planted this area, but I will show you where some has sprouted. Here is the winter rye growing in my new cut flower garden. It's coming up really well, and I will keep it watered pretty well until we're freezing here, until we winterize our water, I guess. But it's looking good. The next gardening task is to protect any fruit trees you have, both from deer and sun scald. So this one has that wrap on there. It's like maxing it out. I'll leave it on for one more year probably. And then I also have a fence around here to protect it from the deer in the winter. But I do still need to do something for this guy before we get too cold here, because the winter sun, when it hits that dark trunk, it can split it because it gets so hot, and then it freezes so quickly. So that's what we're protecting it from. And that's why these white ones work well, because they're reflecting the sunlight. The seventh gardening task brings us back into the garden here, and it is to make sure that you harvest all of your root vegetables, like your potatoes, anything that you would still have in your garden that we should get out of there and store for winter storage. So I do have some little carrots growing here. I planted these late, and this is going to be an experiment that I'm doing this year. I'm going to let them just go over winter and see what we have come spring. I did also leave carrots in the ground last year quite late and was pulling them out of frozen ground, and well, yeah, I think it was frozen. Maybe not quite. It was very cold, but that worked well as well. It's a great storage just to leave them in here until it gets too cold. You can also put leaves and like a tarp over it to protect it from freezing for longer as well, because what better root storage than just leaving it where they are. The eighth gardening task is to dig up any tender perennials that are not going to make it through winter. So in our zone, that's dahlias, geraniums, begonias, cannas, gladiolas. There's probably 100 more. The biggest one for me is my dahlias. So I will be digging these up very soon now. Like I said, we had our killing frost. We had a freeze already. So they are all black right now. So I'll be digging those. Some of them I just dig and put in a pot and put in my basement if I don't want to divide them. Otherwise, I'll dig up, divide in the fall. And I really like the saran wrap method. So I have a totally separate series on dahlias because there's so much information to know about them. They are an amazing flower. Definitely look at adding them to your garden if you don't have them. They are wonderful. Love them so much. So geraniums, I also have been just digging those and putting them in my basement in a pot. I did that last year. It worked great. They all made it through. And the begonias, I took cuttings this year, but I also, I didn't dig them up yet. I still need to do that, actually. Okay, well, good thing I reminded myself. So I actually just dug them up and treated them like a houseplant last year, and they made it through, but they didn't flower this year. So I had them in a really weird spot, so I think that's why. But yeah, I'm excited to try that again this year and see what it gets me. After you're done weeding and taking things out, make sure that you also are mulching again to protect against the spring weeds, but also to offer a little bit more winter protection. You can, like, I'm just going to leave these leaves in here. That offers good protection for everything. So consider just mulching in. I'm also going to use like grass clippings and leaves from the lawnmower in my vegetable garden, so that's just all ready to go. Weed protection, and it's great organic matter for the garden for next year. And task number 10 is to plant all of the sale perennials that you have bought at all of the awesome sales that are going on right now. Make sure that you get to your local garden centers and snag up these deals. Now is still a great time to plant most perennials. So you will be so happy come spring with all your new plants. I've spent way too much money on sale plants this year, but I'm going to have much more full gardens next year, and I am really looking forward to that. That is it for this video. If I missed a task that you do every fall, please let me know what it is. I would love to add it to my list. And happy fall gardening.